Hello. People always say to use the previous year questions whenever you study for your prelims. But how exactly are you supposed to use this? Let me just tell you the ways, the effective ways on how to use your previous year questions so that it will really help you to clear the prelims. The prelims syllabus, as you know, is not very specific. They just say history of India or current affairs, but do not specify the areas. Only when you check the previous year questions, you will understand the important areas and what to expect. But just checking those questions is not enough. What more you can do? Let's see. So, you don't just exactly study the facts in the question. You should try to do a bit more. A lot of people talk about, there will be 4 options and you make question. You should try to understand all the 4 optional, or the 4 options and the details. I would suggest that it's a better way that you create new questions based on the existing question. So how exactly you can do it? I'll show you a sample. This is a question from the 2025 prelim paper. This is from History Modern India about the social reform movements. And there are 2 statements about Raja Ram Mohan Roy. So, statement number 1, he possessed great love and respect for the traditional philosophical systems of the East. The second one, he desired his countrymen to accept the rational and scientific approach and the principle of human dignity and social equality of all men and women. So, 2 statements. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. This was the question. So, about Raja Ram Mohan Roy and his basic ideas. That is the question. So, how to make the best use of this question? So, here you see 2 statements and both are actually correct. So, the answer here is C. So, Ram Mohan Roy has great respect towards the philosophies of the East because he was very fond of Upanishads and it had a great influence on him. If the statement was like he was only considering the philosophies of East, that would have been wrong because he was equally respectful to the Christian religion as well. In fact, the Brahmo Samaj actually incorporated the best of the Christian religion and the Upanishads. But here, since he had great respect of the traditions of East alone, that is correct. And the second statement related to his idea regarding the equality, that is also correct. So this much you have understood by now. What more can we learn with this question? That is by creating questions in and around this area. Say for example, first of all, you should understand all the other philosophical ideas related to Brahma Samaj because this too is just 2 of the major ideas. But when you think about Ram Mohan Roy and Brahma Samaj, there are certain other ideas as well. For example, a similar question. So, Here I am giving you 3 statements. Statement number 1. Brahma Samaj worshipped the idol of Brahma and used to sing hymns in praise of him. Statement 2. Brahma Samajists have no faith in avatars or incarnations. Statement 3. Brahma Samajists are against the caste system. Now, this is another pattern of question I put here. How many of the above statement is or are true? The UPSC question in this area we saw was which among the above statements? But nowadays UPSC asks a lot of this type of question. How many? That means you have to check each statement, check whether they are true or false, then count the total number of the correct response. So here we have 3 statements. So only 1, only 2, all 3, none of these. These are your options. So check your options clearly. Brahma Samaj worshipped the idol of Brahma and used to sing hymns in praise of him. No faith in avatars and against the caste system. These are the 3 statements given here about the philosophy of Brahma Samaj. Now let's check the answer. The answer here is B. Statement 1 is not correct because Brahma Samaj does not have an idol worship. And the Brahma is not the god Brahma among the 3 Murtis. It is the universal soul, that Parabrahma thing which they have actually worshipped. So there was no idol worship of Brahma as part of Brahma Samaj. But the singing of hymns was very much part of the Brahma Samaj tradition. So a part of that first statement is correct, but the other part was not correct. In fact, you should remember the national anthem of India, the Janagana Mana, is actually originally written as a Brahma Samaj hymn, which used to praise the universal soul. So statement 1 is not correct because a part of that is not correct. Statement 2 and 3 are correct. So only 2 statements are correct. So using the previous question, you incorporated some other principles of Brahma Samaj and made a question with a different pattern. So you can bring in the related information because this question was about the principles related to Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Brahma Samaj. So you could bring other principles and make questions with different pattern. Now, what more? One could try to remember the events as well as important names associated with Brahma Samaj. Because Brahma Samaj has a legacy when it started and who all were associated with it. And, it has a very important history and the events and things associated with it. So any moment when you study, these people and events are important. So based on that, let's try another question. Who among the following leaders is or are associated with Brahma Samaj? There are 3 answers given. Devendranath Tagore, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Akshay Kumar Dutt. And the options are 1 only, 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. So, people associated with Brahma Samaj. The most important names you automatically remember will be Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Keshav Chandra Sen. But who else you could remember? So here the answer is D. All these Renaissance leaders, Devendranath Tagore and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Akshay Kumar Datta, they are all associated with Brahma Samaj. UPSC always asks about personalities, and some personalities may be more popular and some less popular, but in a combination of question, because the Ashwini Kumar Datta may not be as popular as the first 2, but you could expect such a question. And you should be in a position to take a calculated guess here. Now, what more? Let's try a bit more difficult question from this area. Yes. There are this statement and explanation type of questions. Here the statement 1 is, the Special Marriage Act of 1872 was enacted to set the minimum age of 14 years for marriage of girls. Statement 2, the controversy of underage marriage of Keshav Chandra Sen's daughter created the need for a law related to age of marriage. Statement 3, the 1872 Act was repealed by the Special Marriage Act 1954. So in 1872, the Special Marriage Act of 1872 was enacted and it set the minimum age of 14 years for marriage of girls. Because at that time, children as young as 5 years and all were also getting married. So the statement says that 1872 Act fixed the age as 14 years. Second statement, the controversy of underage marriage of Keshav Chandra Sen's daughter created the need for a law related to age of marriage. That's statement number 2. Now statement number 3, the 1872 Act was repealed by the Special Marriage Act of 1954. Now look at the options. This is exactly the pattern which UPSC use now. Both statement 2 and 3 are correct and both of them explain statement number 1. Both statement 2 and 3 are correct, but only one of them explains statement 1. Only one of the statement 2 and 3 is correct. And that explains statement 1. Neither 2 and 3 is correct. So, I created this question with later events related to Brahma Samaj. Now, what is the answer for this? The answer is actually B. Because both statements 2 and 3 are correct, but only 2 explains. So, if you check the question again, statement number 1, the Special Marriage Act was enacted to set the minimum age of 14 years for marriage. Okay, fine. Statement 2, the controversy of underage marriage of Keshav Chandra Sen's daughter created the need for law related to age of marriage. This is a true statement. This explains the statement. The 1872 Act was enacted because of this incident and the furor happened after that. Now look at statement 3. The 1872 Act was repealed by the Special Marriage Act of 1954. This statement is correct, but this does not explain statement number 1. Only the statement 2 explains the statement number 1. So, according to the options, the answer is B. Now, one more thing. Now you could try to make questions about other social reform movements. Since we are talking about Brahma Samaj here, from the question, we first created a question based on the philosophies. Then we created questions based on people and then events. So we made 2 more such questions. Now, about other social reform movements. Other than Brahma Samaj, there are Arya Samaj, Prarthana Samaj, Satshodak Samaj, etc. So, when you study other social reform movements also, the same thing applies. And there could be question comparing the movements. So, let's try. Three social reform movements and 3 people who are associated with it, or rather founders of it. Atmiya Sabha, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Dharma Sabha, Radhakant Deb. Tattva Bodhini Sabha, Devadanata. So which among the pairs are correctly matched? 1 only, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. Or sometimes they could put this like, how many of the above pairs are correctly matched? Only 1, only 2, all 3, none of this. So you could put it either way. For this one, actually, the answer here is D, because all the 3 pairs are correctly matched. So, when you take a previous question, apart from studying all the things and options and the basic information, you could actually make your own questions. Once you get to make the questions, the concepts will be much clearer. So, using similar facts, like the first question where I used another philosophical components of Brahma Samaj, you could use other important facts related like the people and events when it comes to history. Then similar social reform movements. So I used history as an example, but any question you could, be it science or environment or, in fact, all the questions. If you get a sports question also, you could do something similar. So all your 100 questions in your previous year papers, you could actually repeat this idea. So if you do this with the past 5 years of questions, you will have at least, because past 5 years means 500 questions. From 500 questions, at least you will be able to generate 3 questions each from every, question. One with similar areas, one with other important areas, and the third with, related to the same fact, but other things. For example, if it is environment, you are making a question on a particular international organization, you could put some other facts of the organization, you could put some other aspects of the organization. Then on third, you could compare it with some other organization. Say, for example, IUCN and WWE, WWF. So, like that. So, from every question, you could make this 3 and you will end up with having 1,500 questions with you. And I just given you sample. Each one of you, when you make it, the questions will be different. Try to make different patterns rather than simple elimination. This different statements questions or, how many of them are correct, and that assertion reason type the statements and how many of them are true and how many of them are explaining. So you could increase your difficulty level and each one of you can make your unique set of questions. So this is a very interesting thing, interesting way to, do your revision before your prelims. And if you are in a group, if each one of you can prepare questions separately and exchange, you will end up with so many wonderful questions. And once you start having this aptitude, you could enjoy your process of studying. And later, when many academies actually want people to make questions, and once you pick up this habit, you could actually make it as a paying option. You could supply these questions to academies and get money also. So in that way also it is productive. So I seriously suggest that rather than keep on repeating your studies, you should try making questions so that your prelim endeavor is much more successful. Thank you for watching.